In order for the students to discuss something, we have them all watch a video about Pearl Cohn's restorative circles in the room they call the zone.
First, I'm going to read a quote. To succeed, you must first improve. To improve, you must first practice. Young people have to be given space to grow and to feel like, okay, I made a mistake, but from this learning experience, I can continue to become better. To learn, you must first fail.
When you're talking about student discipline, a lot of times we are punitive because it's faster and restorative takes more time. But restorative practices are better long term. So at Pearl Cohn, we have a place called The Zone, which we use in lieu of suspension.
Welcome to The Zone.
It's a collaborative space where kids get into a circle and they discuss what their behaviors were and ways to correct it.
We have The Zone every morning from 7 to 9 a.m. Today, we had 8 students in The Zone. We're here today to talk about how to make things right when we make mistakes, poor choices. Usually the infractions are cell phone use, disrespect, cursing, but it could also be that there was an argument in a classroom or more aggressive behaviors that also get sent to us. So even though you had a conflict that brought you here, if we can bring our best selves to this circle, we can get a lot done, we can learn from each other. When students come in, we go over circle guidelines so that there are agreements that we hold within this space. What does it mean to listen from the heart?
You're trying to feel like you're relating to the situation.
Just like showing respect to them.
Once we teach them really what the zone is and how this is not a space where there's a power dynamic between you and another person, then they kind of disarm and get to what's causing that behavior.
I had somebody come to me and tell me that a friend said something bad about me.
Most of the time when you're in trouble, you get a referral and you have a consequence. They don't really want to hear your side of the story.
Well, what happened?
When you come into Zone, they have a conversation with you and they kind of tell you how to solve your problem the positive way.
I was able to go to her and work it out.
We're really just trying to get context. Whenever there's a conflict, right, both parties contribute to the conflict. Right? Although you may not feel like you contributed to the problem, you played a piece in it. And that's a part of the social emotional learning that we're trying to get them to see. We really want to have a discussion about the things you can control.
I just need to catch myself and know my surroundings.
It is a place for students to process their role in it, understanding who is harmed, but then also understanding that it's okay to reflect on what you as a student needed in that situation.
I don't need anything from others to make it right because I can be mature on my own.
But how can we help you in the maturing process? Because we're going to be here too. What I usually say is I don't want to change your behavior. I want you to think about it before you do it. Really, I've seen them becoming very intentional about what they do, what they say.
Everybody has to own up to their consequences.
And that's the whole purpose of the zone.
And me owning it, it's going to help me better.
So we're going to have a total of 3 rounds. So basically a round is a pass of the talking piece around the circle. And since we don't have talking pieces, we'll just go in the order that we went last time, if that's okay. The keeper poses a question. So I guess I'm the keeper. And as a participant, usually answers first. So I'll ask a question and then answer it. The keeper then passes the talking piece to the person to his or her left or right. All right. So on the first round, participants say their name as well as respond to the question. Remember, it is always okay for a participant to pass. So you can say pass if you don't feel comfortable responding. That's okay. All right. So again, 3 rounds. Here goes round 1. All right. So we're going to do a quick check-in round to assess how well you feel you understand the material we have been studying. So That's the video we just saw. If you put up all your fingers, which is a full hand, you feel completely clear on pretty much everything we have covered so far. No fingers or your fist means the opposite. You're feeling really lost and confused. One finger means you still have lots and lots of questions. Two means fewer questions, and so forth. So when I pass the talking piece, just do a show of hands. So right now, this first round is just a show of hands. So if you understand, the purpose of restorative circles and what they're about, again, let's just see the 5 hands. If you're totally lost, the fist, and based on, how well you understand 1, 2, 3, or 4. So let's all hold our hands if we can, as based on our understanding. Awesome. Okay. All right. So now this is round 2. We are going to go a bit deeper. If you put your full hand up, can you tell us what you think you understand best? If you kept some of your fingers down, can you share what you feel most unclear or confused by? So I'll start off. I indicated that I totally understand restorative circles. So restorative circles are a safe space for students to openly discuss matters that of conflict that arise in their personal lives during school. Students need these types of spaces to become more productive and better equipped to handle conflict, not just at school, but also in their personal lives. So that was my understanding of that. Ms. Kors, I'm going to pass it on to you. And then based on your understanding, let us know what you understood about restorative circles.
So I understood that it provides a safe space for everybody to speak. Everybody's voices are heard. It's a space where people will feel comfortable in expressing themselves and also to learn from each other's experiences as well as their own. Passing the piece.
Tell us who? Who do you want to pass it to? Oh, mic on, please. Mic check.
Next I have is Gabrielle.
Mic check, Gabrielle. There you go.
I'm sorry, I was talking to somebody in my background, but I feel like it was more so in terms of my understanding a way to create or strengthen social emotional learning between students and peers within the building.
Nice. Go ahead and pass it to someone.
Pass to Alicia.
I understand the purpose of them, which is to kind of get students back on track, and to get students to be able to evaluate their decisions or their choices.
Nicely stated. Go ahead and pick someone who hasn't spoken.
Elijah.
I understand it as a coping mechanism for students so that they can have a free space to talk about some of the trials and tribulations that they've gone through, and to just really focus in on the emotions that they can be currently feeling, or just focus on healing each other through active conversations.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Who is next? I'm sorry, I can't see my whole. I've got Miss Dixon or Alexis.
Quickly, my understanding is that for checking for understanding, the teacher is just trying to verify that the students are learning what's being taught, everybody's on the same page, and definitely for each student to be learning at the same pace, I would say, so to speak, for checking for understanding based on the responses that you get.
Okay, thank you for that. Is there anyone I've missed who would like to say something? Okay, the last part of this round is based on a simple question. What do you as students think that we can do as a class to have all students have a better understanding of this unit? To have a better understanding of this unit. So I'll go ahead and start. So me as a teacher, I like to model and provide examples. I think like the more examples students have, especially like awesome examples like what we're doing today, the more effective the conversation in the circle can be. So that's coming from a teacher perspective. Are there any students who want to answer the question, what do you think we can do as a class to have all students have a better understanding of this unit?
I'll start. I think it's important to drive the purpose of the unit because you don't want students to feel like they're wasting their time. But I think it's important for students to be able to understand the objective and the purpose of the unit or whatever is being taught at that time.
That's very important. Thank you for that insight, Alicia. Yes, because if you don't have the objective from the beginning, you're losing your audience for sure. Is there anyone else who would like to respond?
I think something that's important for us to focus on is working on establishing a certain level of trust between the students and the faculty members that'll be running the circles, because a lot of students tend to like not go to faculty members when it comes to sharing personal information. So I think it's very important for us to like focus on trying to offer ourselves as resources first, rather than them seeing us as faculty members first.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Elijah. Mr. Boggs, thumbs up. Ms. Flores, thumbs up. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Does anyone else want to say something about how we can deliver this so students have an understanding? Okay. So I'm gonna take radio silence to mean we're moving on. The last part of the circle is what's called the closing. It's kind of like a checkout round. So basically the question is simple. How was the circle today? We can, do everything for thumbs up or, express how you're feeling. Like for me, right, it gave me, for me as an educator, it gave me insight into students' minds, like what you guys were thinking. Alicia said the purpose, the objective. Elijah said trust. Like all important things for a teacher to know and understand and be effective in the classroom. So that was awesome that I got to hear the student voices in this, because oftentimes we plan and that student voice is so critical in what we do. All right. Does anyone else want to say how they felt about the circle today? I got a comment, Alexis. Thank you. Good stuff. Okay, and that completes the formal checking for understanding protocol of our circle focus for today.